This week's Parsha is Parshat Vayakhel. In it we read the mitzvah of Shabbat. Sheshet yamim taseh melacha, 6 days you can work, and then on the 7th day it'll be Kadosh and Shabbat la Hashem. Immediately after the mitzvah of Shabbat, we're told about the mitzvah of building the Mishkan. From here, and Rashi brings this down, that the Torah first mentioned the tzivui as harat Shabbat letzivui melechet hamishkan, to the building of Mishkan, lomar she'eno dochet Shabbat, to tell us that the building of the Mishkan does not take precedence over Shabbat. And in fact, the Gemara learns that 39, the Lamed Tet Melachot, are learned from this connection here. The question is, why again does the Torah mention the tzivui of Shabbat? It's been mentioned so many times in the Torah. And what is the message and the connection to the Shabbat, the Mishkan and Shabbat? I think the message is very deep. In the building of the Mishkan, it says, V'chol chacham lev, that the building of the Mishkan requires chokhmat lev. B'tzalel, the architect of the Mishkan, also God gives him chokhmah, intelligence, intellect. And I think that here is really the secret, and that is that the Mishkan is about kavanah. It's about intellect, it's about thought, and so too is Shabbat. Melechet machshevet asra tova, we learn that what it is that's asur to do on Shabbat is a melacha, an action that has machshava, that has kavanah, that has thought. So really, both of these, the Mishkan and Shabbat, require thought. It's not about being passive, but about being active. This, I think, is a key of Shabbat, and that is that we create active relationships, not passive relationships, when we fulfill the mitzvah of Shabbat. Rav Shlomo Riskin, who's a leading figure in the modern Orthodox world, was asked the question of Facebook and the world that we live in today with social media, where students are asking him, why can't we go on social media and on Facebook on Shabbat? It's creating relationships. Isn't Shabbat about relationships? And Rav Riskin tells the story of a girl who invited her 500 Facebook friends to a party, to her birthday party, and none of them showed up. There's one thing, creating relationships through social media and Facebook, but there's another thing, creating relationships when it's actual, real relationships that are face-to-face, when it's an active relationship that is built through being active and not passive. And this really is the lesson of Shabbat, it's the lesson of the Mishkan. And that is that it's about kavanah, it's about thought, it's about chokhmah. But chokhmah is not about sitting behind the computer or sitting, with our phones, but rather working hard at it and striving to create relationships that are full of kavanah and that really are full of thought. Shabbat Shalom.